Did you build the smelloscope? No, I remembered that I built one last year. Go ahead, try it. You'll find that every heavenly body has its own particular scent. Here, I'll point it at Jupiter.
Smells like strawberries.
Exactly. And now, Saturn.
Pine needles. Oh man, this is great. Hey, as long as you don't make me smell Uranus.
I don't get it.
I'm sorry, Fry, but astronomers renamed Uranus in 2620 to end that stupid joke once and for all.
Oh, what's it called now?
Eurectum.
Hi everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David and I've been searching the interzones for some more science, space and tech news to share with you. And I came across this over at Science Alert. Wow, potentially habitable Earth-sized world discovered just 40 light years away. Well, that's not too far. In cosmic terms anyway, it's just just another suburb away really. A world that bears more than a passing similarity to Earth has just been discovered orbiting a star just 40 light years from the solar system. This exoplanet has a very similar radius to our home planet, suggesting a similar rocky composition. Tantalizingly, Gliese 12b, as the exoplanet is named, is at a distance from its host star that could be habitable to life as we know it. Interesting. In my opinion, this planet will give us the clearest answer yet for any potentially habitable planet as to whether it could support habitable conditions. Astrophysicist Shishir Dholakia of the University of Southern Queensland in Australia tells Science Alert. Yeah, I'm not a scientist myself. I just love all this sort of stuff and sharing it with everybody. If there's any astrophysicists or planetary scientists out there or astronomers, please feel free to comment. Love to hear from it. It'd be awesome. It is its host star is inactive. It's extremely nearby and therefore very characterizable. Now, inactive. Would be interesting. Astronomers, let me know what that means. Yes. Now, what we don't know, what we don't yet know is whether Gliese 12b has an atmosphere. That factor could make a huge difference to whether the world is hospitable to life like Earth or a scorching hell planet like Venus. Now, Gliese 12b represents one of the biggest targets to study whether Earth-sized planets orbiting cool stars can retain their atmospheres, a crucial step to advance our understanding of habitability on planets across our galaxy, Dholakia explains. Over 5,600 planets outside the solar system or exoplanets have been discovered to date, but we are yet to find an Earth 2.0. Most of the worlds we find are larger. Absolutely fascinating. I love all this sort of stuff. I love sharing it with it. I'm just an old nerd, old overgrown nerd. Yes. That gets me all excited down in my nerdy nether regions, but then again, my personal life is no concern of yours. That's not to say we've not found those with similar sizes and masses to Earth. We've found quite a few, but finding Earth-sized exoplanets to meet the conditions for habitability is a little more difficult. Now, one of those conditions is that the exoplanet needs to be within a specific distance range from the star, known as the habitable or Goldilocks zone, as in this porridge is too hot, this porridge is too cold, this porridge is just right. So obviously distance from the sun. So excellent. I love stuff like that when you can compare it to stuff that it's a perfect analogy, but you also feel like you're a little child. And my brain is like a little child, all excited about science, space and technology, especially, as I said, I'm not a scientist myself. This is defined by the temperature inflicted on the exoplanet by the star. Now, the exoplanet needs to be close enough for any water on the surface to be liquid, not frozen, but not so close that any water would evaporate clean away. Yes, and there's the artist's impression of the Gliese 12 system with the exoplanet retaining a thin atmosphere. Yeah, interesting if it was like that. It'd be very similar to Mars, perhaps, maybe, with thin atmosphere. Now, in the solar system, Earth sits smack bang in the middle of the Goldilocks zone. Venus is a bit too close to the sun, and Mars is right at the outer limits, and proof that just sitting in the habitable zone doesn't guarantee habitable conditions. But it's a starting point for identifying worlds that we should examine more closely for other signs of habitability. Now, this is what we have with Gliese 12b. It was found in data from the TESS Exoplanet Hunting Telescope. And Dholakia, his co-lead author, Larissa Palethorpe, of the University of Edinburgh and University College London and their team followed up with a number of different telescopes to confirm that the test detecting was legit. Yes, very street. Fascinating. They found that the exoplanet has a radius of almost exactly the same as Earth's, and it orbits its host star once every 12.76 days. Here in the solar system, that will be way too close for comfort. But the star Gliese 12 is a red dwarf, much cooler and dimmer than the sun. The radiation the exoplanet receives is about 1.6 times the radiation Earth gets from the sun. That's really interesting. So, orbits 12.76 days. Yeah. Ours is a 365-day orbit. Yeah, interesting. The estimated surface temperature of the exoplanet is 42 degrees Celsius. Earth, by comparison, has an average temperature of 15 degrees. 42 is passable. Hopefully it doesn't go up too high. I mean, that could be climate controlled quite easily, but that could be the average. I hope that's not the average. If it is, it's more like outback Australia in the summer. Whether or not the exoplanet has an atmosphere could play a huge role in what the surface conditions are like, though. Now, we are quoting the planet's equilibrium temperature, which is the temperature the planet would be if it had no atmosphere, Dolakia says. Now, much of the scientific value of this planet is to understand what kind of atmosphere it could have. Now, since Gliese 12b gets between the amount of light as Earth and Venus would get from the Sun, it will be valuable for bridging the gap between these two planets in our solar system. There you go, Earth in comparison to Gliese 12b. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Now, Gliese 12b gets about 85% of the radiation received by Venus, but Venus is covered in a thick choking atmosphere that generates a greenhouse effect, resulting in an average surface temperature of 464 degrees C or 867 degrees Fahrenheit. It is thought that Earth and Venus's first atmospheres were stripped away and then replenished by volcanic outgassing and bombardments from residual material in the solar system, Palethorpe said. Now, Earth is habitable, but Venus is not due to its complete loss of water. Because Gliese 12b is between Earth and Venus in temperature, its atmosphere would teach us a lot about the habitability pathways planets take as they develop. Now, due to its proximity to Earth, radius, position at the edge of the habitable zone of its host star, and low flare activity of that star, Gliese 12b represents possibly the best candidate yet for studying the emergence and evolution of habitability. The researchers hope that they will be able to recruit the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, for a closer look to see if it has an atmosphere and what that atmosphere is made of. JWST will probably be able to give us a clear picture of what its atmosphere looks like. Right now, the atmosphere of a planet is probably the greatest significant unknown that makes or breaks any claims of habitability, Dolakia tells Science Alert. In other words, the hypothesis that this planet is habitable is very exciting, but it's particularly exciting that we can actually test this hypothesis clearly. We can also extend these findings to other potentially habitable planets around red dwarfs, the most common type of star in our galaxy. Yes, the research has been published in the monthly notices of the esteemed Royal Astronomical Society. Sorry, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? I think it's great. We're getting closer and closer, and one day we will find one that's a habitable world other than Earth. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care. And as I always say, if you can't be good at. And as I also always say,
my brain hurts.